Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hollyoaks has revealed that Frankie Osborne's exploitation will take a disturbing turn next week. The Osbornes are hugely worried about their daughter, but will they be able to get through to her? Frankie and Dylan are being exploited by siblings Grace and Rex. And while they are led to believe they are in safe hands, next week Frankie ends up in danger yet again at Grace's birthday party. She senses an opportunity when she meets a man called Ray who could further her aspiring dance career. But things go wrong and she is left vulnerable by an overwhelming situation back at home. Best streaming services. But new spoilers released by Hollyoaks have revealed that the situation then gets even darker, with Dylan waking up to find Frankie frantically searching the house for vapes. The two teens have been dealing drugs on behalf of Grace and Rex, and have also been taking the illegal substances themselves. So it's no surprise that Frankie has become hooked. She goes to Rex for her latest hit, but he refuses to help her out after Dylan recently went to the police about the dodgy situations he is involved in. Hollyoaks legend opens up over missing the soap in vulnerable post. Frankie then takes matters into her own hands and sets her sights on Darren and Nancy. However, the pair quickly realize that their daughter has come home to get her hands on money for drugs. Darren and Nancy attempt to reach out to Frankie, but as withdrawal symptoms set in, they can only watch in horror as she lashes out and begins smashing up their house. This distressing situation sees Frankie hit rock bottom, and the Osbornes are heartbroken to see their daughter in such a broken state. Hollyoaks dodge her to face life-changing decision in undercover plot. While Darren and Nancy's relationship is also in tatters, they come together to hold crisis talks with Frankie, to try and work out exactly what has been happening. But Grace also turns up for the candid conversation, hoping that she will be able to manipulate the situation to stop Frankie reuniting with her family. Will this mark the end of Frankie's ordeal, or is there more heartbreak to come? In a storyline that's set to shock the village and rattle even its most resilient residents, Hollyoaks is delving into one of its darkest and most harrowing plots to date as young Frankie Osborne becomes entangled in an exploitation plot that no one saw coming, with emotions running high, secrets crumbling, and trust shattered. The show is pulling no punches as it tackles the dangerous manipulations lurking beneath the surface of teen life, and the devastating impact it can have on even the brightest of souls. Frankie Osborne has always been known as the bubbly, vibrant heart of her group, the teen who laughed the loudest even when things hurt the most, the daughter who tried so hard to live up to her family name, while forging her own path in a village haunted by legacies and ghosts of the past. But recently something has changed, a flicker in her smile, a hesitation in her voice, a quiet dread she tries desperately to hide, and it's that shift which sets off alarm bells for those closest to her. It begins subtly: a new friend, a new follower, an online connection that seems harmless at first, someone who compliments her art, who encourages her to share more of her sketches, who seems genuinely interested in her thoughts, her life, her fears, someone who listens when others are too distracted by their own chaos. And for a girl like Frankie, desperate to feel seen and heard after months of feeling invisible, that attention is like a drug. The messages are flattering, carefully worded, thoughtful, the username anonymous enough to avoid suspicion but consistent enough to build trust. And as Frankie lets her guard down bit by bit, she begins to share more about her life, her insecurities, her family, even her location. And it's only later, when the messages start to shift, when the tone changes, that she realizes the person on the other end isn't just some kind stranger, but someone who knows far too much, someone who isn't interested in friendship but control. Frankie begins receiving demands, subtle at first, then bolder. The request to share a photo becomes a demand to do so. Now the supportive messages twist into threats if she doesn't comply, and the person who once seemed like a safe space now feels like a prison. Frankie doesn't tell anyone, not at first, because part of her is ashamed, part of her convinced she's overreacting, that no one will believe her, and by the time she realizes she's trapped, it's too late. The man behind the messages isn't some distant figure in a far-off place. He's here in Hollyoaks, someone she's passed on the street, someone who's watched her for weeks and planned every interaction, every compliment, every Manipulation. He's a predator with a familiar face, and now he wants more than just messages. He wants control, total submission, and he knows exactly how to get it: through fear, through shame, through secrets Frankie never wanted anyone to know. When she tries to pull away, he retaliates, uploading a private sketch she once shared to a public forum, twisting the context, turning something innocent into something sinister. And when she confronts him in the park, under the cover of darkness, he threatens her again, this time face to face, reminding her that she has no power, that no one would believe her, not someone with her past, not someone with her family history. He tells her that even if she speaks up, he'll make sure the story gets buried, just like so many others. Terrified, Frankie retreats, pushing away her friends, her family, isolating herself, until finally she collapses in the middle of the village in broad daylight, clutching her chest in a full-blown panic attack. It's Leah who finds her, who sits with her on the pavement, and doesn't ask questions, just holds her hand until she can breathe again. And it's Leah who later confronts her, demanding to know the truth, begging her to let someone in. And in that moment, Frankie breaks the dam, bursts, and the truth comes spilling out between sobs and gasps and trembling hands. What follows is a whirlwind. The police are called, a safeguarding team is brought in, the Osborne family is rocked to its core, and Darren is left reeling, torn between fury and guilt for not noticing sooner, for not protecting his daughter from something so insidious. But it's not just a case of arrest and closure, because the predator has connections. He knows how to bury evidence, how to twist facts, and soon the investigation stalls for lack of proof, for lack of cooperation from others who may have been targeted but are too scared to speak. Frankie spirals again, blaming herself, struggling to sleep, haunted by images and words she can't unhear. And when she returns to school, it's clear the rumor mill is already spinning, classmates whispering, others casting judgment based on what little they think they know. But then something unexpected happens. Another girl comes forward, then another, both with similar stories, different methods, same man. And suddenly the case reopens with renewed urgency. As the walls close in around the predator, he grows desperate, and one evening Frankie returns home to find her bedroom window open, the scent of his cologne in the air. A single message scrawled on her mirror in red marker: "You talk, you died." The threat shakes her to her core, and this time she can't hide it. She collapses into Darren's arms, sobbing uncontrollably, and that moment becomes the turning point for the entire village. United by outrage and fear, a group of parents launch a campaign demanding justice for the girls and safety reforms in local institutions. Spearheaded by Cindy and Nancy, the movement gains national attention, and soon Frankie finds herself invited to speak at a televised panel. But the trauma is still fresh, and when the cameras roll, Frankie freezes until Leah takes her hand, again grounding her, and with tears in her eyes, Frankie tells her story, the full truth, raw and unfiltered. Her courage inspires others. More victims step forward across different towns, all pointing to the same man, and finally, with a mountain of evidence, the police arrest him in a dramatic takedown outside the school gates, witnessed by dozens who once doubted her. The moment is cathartic, but it doesn't erase the scars. Frankie's healing is slow, non-linear, and painful, marked by therapy, sleepless nights and days where she still can't walk past the park without her chest tightening. But with the support of her family, her friends, and a growing network of survivors, she begins to find herself again. Hollyoaks has never shied away from bold storytelling, and this plot marks one of its most powerful to date. Unflinching in its depiction of grooming, manipulation, and digital exploitation, the show is shedding light on the dark underbelly of online culture and the silent suffering endured by countless young people like Frankie Osborne, whose only crime was wanting to be seen, heard, valued, and in doing so, it's reminding us all that silence is the abuser's greatest weapon, and that even in the darkest of stories there is hope, courage, and the chance to rise. As Frankie stands outside the village cafe weeks later, drawing again for the first time in months, there's a calm to her, a quiet strength, her sketchbook open to a page that reads, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And beside her is Leah, smiling, proud as ever, because while the battle is far from over, Frankie Osborne is no longer fighting alone. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.